stop at nothing to build the life of your dreams and enjoy it to its fullest.
William Brown built an e-learning trading education company to $16.4 million in sales, which he then sold for a multi-seven-figure exit.
And I started selling that Word document to my followers for $50 because I sold 5, 6, 7 of them, and all of a sudden I had an e-learning company.
He moved from the UK to Dubai and now runs a coaching business doing around $300K per month, helping info product owners and coaches build, scale, and even exit their business. Go with the flow, see where it goes, but appreciate you coming on.
It's a pleasure, man. Exciting.
So we'd love to go into your backstory just to start off. We were just talking before about actually DJing, which sometimes you talk about, sometimes you don't. Start from where you'd love to, maybe just for a couple of minutes. I'd love to just hear that story.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think the best way to describe it is to basically say I've kind of been an entrepreneur accidentally since I was very young, right? So when I was younger, my first ever thing that I loved to do was skateboarding. But instead of just doing it, I would make videos, I would film them, edit them, design cover art, and try and sell skateboard DVDs to my friend for like £1. You know, my buddies. So that was my first entrepreneurial thing without knowing what it even was. Then I got into graffiti. And again, instead of just painting and writing, I started my own magazine, and I would interview writers and take pictures, and I made the magazine, got it stocked in certain art stores across England. And again, I didn't realize it, but I was productizing my passion and what I was doing. And I just did this automatically. I didn't even know what business was. And it certainly wasn't for the money, because I was making barely any money. Then I got into music after that, and that was my first thing that was quite successful. So I got signed to a pretty good record label. I started making electronic music when I was probably about 18. At 20, I got signed to a good label. Instantly, I got a manager and an agent. And within a week, I was DJing in Sweden and Iceland and Russia and Australia. And it was amazing. So the money was not the best. But when I was younger, I didn't really care about money because I lived with my parents. You know, I wasn't interested in anything kind of materialistic. I just wanted to do my art, do my passion. And the money was a nice bonus, really. So I DJ'd all over the world. I played in over 45 countries between the age of 20 and 26. And then at about 25, my buddies started like buying houses, getting married. I saw a friend one day driving like a brand new Audi A5 or something. And I was like, how the hell did you get that? Like, that's like a 60, 70, 80 grand car. And I probably had like 5K to my name and lived with my parents as well. And I started to slowly feel like I need to make money, and I took money more seriously. And I kind of started to realize the importance of it, because you kind of need it, you know, to live and live somewhere nice and eat food and travel and enjoy your life and stuff. So I started, being a bit more conscious of the fact that I was only making 2 or 3K a month. And I came home from a show. In London. I got home and there was a trading documentary on TV. Very glamorized, right? But it showed people making money from home, which I'd never heard about or seen. And I was about 26 when I saw this, or thereabouts, 26, 27-ish. And that blew my bloody mind, man. I was like, wow, you can make money on the internet without doing really any physical stuff. I didn't have to fly to different countries and stuff. So I started trading on the side. I opened a brokerage account immediately. I put £500 in there, and through nothing but beginner's luck, I grew that 500 up to about 8 or 9 grand over a few months, 3, 4, 5 months, wiped almost all of it in a single day, as is the case with many uneducated, anyone that trades really is very common. And I made one of the best decisions of my life. I took the little money that I had left and I bought a course and I hired a coach. And this was really my first foray into online education as well, which is interesting. And long story short, I became profitable, not to a large extent, but I was making money from trading. I was making money from music as well. And my original plan was to make basically as much as I could, 3, 4, 5, 6K a month, invest in real estate with cash, use the rental income to grow my overall income. And one day I'll be relatively financially free, in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So that was the biggest plan that I could make for myself. And then one day I had a very small Twitter at the time where I'd just talk about my trades and chat to my buddies that were also trading. And someone messaged me, this guy Wissam, and he said, I was talking to your cousin and he said, you're doing very well with trading. Could I pay to come to your house and sit with you and learn from you? And that was my first ever unknown e-learning customer. So over he came and he paid me for some time. He made a Word document that he took away with him, like a shitty 3-page, just text. And I started selling that Word document to my followers for $50. And that worked. I sold 5, 6, 7 of them. And all of a sudden I had an e-learning company. I didn't know it. I didn't know about what any of it was. Like I was doing cold outreach without knowing it was cold outreach. And I was getting traffic without really knowing it was traffic from YouTube. Well, Twitter first and then YouTube second. And the business that I sold last year, my first big successful e-learning company, was born on its own by accident again. And I just figured it out. So that's it. Really?
Crazy. There's so many directions I want to go into. You said you hired that first coach back.
Yeah.
You were making, you were like, I had 5K roughly around that time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, I'll never forget the day that I lost all that bloody money. I know I was trading the German stock index, and long story short, I was long. The market just went down, down, down against me. I didn't have a stop. And yeah, I must have lost 5, 6, 7K, something like that. And then I bought this guy Chris's course. I worked with this prop trader called Tom from London, who worked at this fund. They were the ones that instilled the knowledge that made me profitable in the end. And that's why I believe in online education so much, because it's 100% changed my life. I would not be sat here today without online education, so thank God for those guys.
Yeah. And same with me. For me, I was at university. I was doing an economics degree. I was supposed to go and become an investment banker. And then one day I saw Ty Lopez's Lamborghini. And it was going around the whole university. Everyone was laughing at it, calling him a scammer. And then one day I just thought, well, if this guy can afford to spend so much on advertising, maybe he's not a scam. Maybe there's something to it. And I just bought his course, and I remember it was $67.
67 steps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you been through it?
No.
It's actually some really good timeless wisdom in there. It's just basically lessons he learned from his mentors. And I learned 2 things from him. One was start educating yourself. So start reading books. That was the first time I started reading actual like business books, biographies, personal development books, that kind of stuff. Second was to find a mentor. A few months later, a previous university student who had a 7-figure agency came in to speak. He was 10 years older than me. I was 20. He was 30 at the time. And I remember thinking, that's my guy. I need to figure out a way for him to mentor me. And I did. And it completely changed my life as well. So I'm with you with that. For you, it also seems like though you've been able to, in the things that you've done, it seems like you've actually been successful at most, if not all of them to a degree. Is that fair to say?
Well, not really, because I mean, skateboarding was not really a success. I think I've probably learned something from everyone.
Right.
But I mean, I didn't really make any money from the selling skateboard videos. I didn't really make any money from the graffiti magazine. I made okay money. I mean, probably all-time earnings from music, I probably made 700K, 800K, something like that over, maybe not even that, to be honest. But that was my first fairly big successful thing where I got a lot of fame, a lot of recognition, pretty good money, traveled all over the world. So I think that was my first proper big successful thing. And again, I'd learned so much from that. I'd learned account management, bookkeeping, money management, communication from touring and working with agents and managers and business logistics and stuff. So when it came to the trading education company, which was my biggest probably success ever so far, I just was ready. Like I've heard Sam Ovens call it being a full stack entrepreneur, where you know a bit about marketing, a bit about sales, a bit about product, a bit about communication, a bit about finances, and you can bring it all together and it helps you go a lot further. And I definitely feel like that's what happened.
Okay. So you're picking up those skills from all the different types of businesses.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So your first online business was the trading and education.
Correct.
And you did 16.4 million in total sales?
Yeah.
Right?
I guess you could say, I mean, I used to sell records online. I used to sell merchandise online. I used to sell sample packs online. So in a way, the kind of a bit of online with the music business. But yeah, the trading education company, when we did the final accounts, when we signed the APA to sell, or hopefully sell at that stage, it was just above $16.4 million. Yeah.
Why do you think you're able to have that degree of success with effectively your first online business? And the reason I ask is because a lot of people listening to this would have tried, maybe drop shipping, maybe they tried trading, maybe they tried crypto, maybe they tried to build an agency. And there's this long list of, quote unquote failures, or they weren't as successful as they wanted it to be. What do you think enabled you to effectively scale your first business from scratch to that low?
Stupidity, blind perseverance and passion, and a love for figuring things out. And I like to make a mess and then clean it up, and then make a mess and then clean it up, and just figure stuff out and just stay with it. A lot of it is patience and problem solving. Because I think a lot of people run into a problem and give up too soon when the solution is out there. And here's the thing. Every time I run into a big problem that I really feel like I can't solve, I find someone who's solved it and pay them to show me how. So for example, I wanted to keep growing that business. And then I found Alex Becker to help me solve the funnel side and the sales side and the ad side. And bang, we went from $250,000 to 1.3, 1.4 area within 12 months. And then Sam Ovens helped on the pricing and the product side. And again, we went from like 1.3 to 2.5-ish and on and on. So every time there's a problem, I just find someone that solved it, which is the reason I'm at this mastermind as well. Because one problem I have now is team management and that kind of thing. Not a problem, but something to potentially be solved. And, that's why I'm even here. So yeah.
It's so cool because you can just really like follow the breadcrumbs of successes. And it's like you essentially still doing what got you to that point. And you're still doing it now. So like being here, and you say with team and stuff like that, what does the team look like? I'd love you to sort of describe the current business model that you have and what the structure of that looks like. Yeah,
I think if I tell you that, I think that will give you context. So basically right now, I'm kind of doing the exact opposite of what I've just done with the last business. So the last business had like a massive team of 19 people. I've now got a team of 2, or 3 if you include my assistant, technically. The last business was 95% paid ads. Now it's 95% organic. That was all one time, and now it's recurring. So all the mistakes that I felt like I made in the last business, I've learned from them, and I'm doing the opposite now to way better effect. So right now we're doing about 280 to 340 a month cash. Me, 2 sales reps and an assistant. So the margin is a good 91%, which is nice. So it's pretty much all profit. But I really, when I sold the last company, right, my goal was get a few coaching clients, make 30, 40, 50K a month, chill, no team, 100% profit, no ads. And when my YouTube channel blew up in December, January, my God, I've never seen so many sales calls in my life. And I wasn't prepared because I was on my own. My calendar was full for 9 days out, 12 calls a day, for God's sakes. It was mental.
Did you take them all?
I tried my best. I honestly tried my best. Yeah. And, good God, did we grow, man. I think we did like 70K in December with 364 in January, 70 to 364 from 2 YouTube videos. It's just, I mean, we were ready, the price was right. The offer was there. The product was there. So we were ready, but that just shows quantum leaps can occur, when it comes to things like traffic. But to come back to your point and your question, I'm just fascinated by one-man businesses and how far you can scale with little, and that's the game that I'm trying to play. I'm trying to make as much money as I can and have as much impact as I can, because that's really part of the mission now. It's not just the money anymore, but do it in a very lean, simple, enjoyable, fun way. And the mission statement behind this company is make money, have fun, and help people. So I want to do that on as big a scale as possible, but in the easiest way possible. So.
Love that, man. So it's basically 2/3 team members right now.
Yeah.
So where do you feel like you need the help with when it comes to team?
Sales reps.
Right.
So I'm fascinated by not having a sales team, and just selling without needing sales calls. That just fascinates me because it's an element of efficiency that I think has not really been properly solved yet. I think Dan's gone a long way towards solving it. And it might not be the answer because like Dan said earlier, if you want to scale as far as possible, it's not the answer. But there's something there. And I just wanted to come and learn about it and think about it and see how it's being done. Because I think my number one passion in life is building things. I just love figuring out the systems, the process. How does it work? Why does it work? How can you do it bigger? How can you do it in a better way? So that's the mission. It's just figuring out the puzzle. And the end of the puzzle is millions and millions of dollars, which is nice, so.
What do you like to do with the money?
I just love investing it and growing it, I've got better at spending it because I used to be so frugal, so immensely frugal. But yeah, I want to be a billionaire. So my plan, and don't get me started on the plan, but it's basically make cash, invest it well. I'm going to start a venture capital firm in the next couple of years and hopefully it will all come together. It's a bit more complex than that, but I just invest it and grow it, So.
What about, besides investing in stuff, do you spend money anywhere else or maybe just going into that?
A month in Bali. So hotels and police escorts and all that kind of thing. But no, I don't really spend money on much. I probably spend most of it on coffee, dinners, cigars, flights. I like to fly business class and hopefully private soon as well, but nothing more than that. I think the biggest stuff that I buy is just real estate, which I just buy with cash. So
let's circle back to YouTube. So you mentioned that, it's from 2 videos, and I see your videos all over my newsfeed and everyone else's at the time. And you essentially pioneered a different way of doing YouTube. Nobody was really doing it exactly the way you were doing it.
Yeah.
You had a bit of a twist on it. And now that's become a meta. Like people are essentially doing what you do.
Yeah.
Right. Following that.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Like, how did you figure that out?
Laziness. I didn't want to buy cameras and set them up and get an editor and do thumbnails and waste time and stuff. So I just thought, well, I don't really care. So this was one of my advantages because I'd already made loads of money. I'd already sold a company. I already own millions of dollars of real estate and I don't need it to work. So I thought, well, if I don't need it to work, then why not just bloody enjoy it and just do whatever I want and just, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I don't really care anyway. So the first video that I made that went quite well was the day that I got the wire from Highview, who bought the last company. About 3 hours later, I just recorded on my iMac camera and just said I've just sold my company and all this stuff. And that was my first big video. It's got 100,000 views. But dude, when I made that video, man, I got so many messages, so many emails. Everyone was sharing it in groups and stuff. So it spread fast and I got loads of sales calls and stuff from that as well. But it just worked well. And I thought, wow, it's done well. I haven't even tried. So let me carry on not trying and let's see if it keeps working. And then it did. So that's it.
So for people who, you work mainly with info creators, coaches, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So for the guys who are maybe haven't done as, you've got something big to shout about, right? Like you've done something that a lot of people want to see. Do you recommend that same approach in terms of how you create YouTube videos for guys that you're mentoring, or do you kind of put in a different way for them?
I do, yeah. I can only teach what I've done, which is pretty much all that I do. I just help people to build info businesses like I have, or grow them like I have, or exit them like I have. And, there is a bit of a secret strategy to my YouTube. I'll tell you off camera, but it's sick, man. So there is a tiny little bit of a secret, and it's in my program. So my clients get that secret as well. But, yeah, I mean, I just had a new client join me about 6 weeks ago, right? Started a YouTube from scratch, literally 6 weeks ago. He's got 47,000 followers in 6 weeks. And I'll show you his channel later on. And he just did exactly what I do and what I told him to do. I just said, dude, look, get your whiteboard in your room at home and use the secret for the titles and stuff, and just shoot long videos and just write it on the thingy and just teach what you think will really be valuable and will really help people. And just keep the frame. Forget about yourself, forget about views and subscribers and stuff, and just share what you feel are secrets and tips and tactics that will be impactful. And he's honestly made, he's been doing 2 videos a week. So he's made like 12, 13, 14 videos, and he's touching on 50k subscribers in 6 weeks. It's crazy.
What niche is that?
Manifestation.
Manifestation. Okay.
Yeah. They're great videos as well, to be fair. So credit to him.
Got you. Okay.
And dude, he's printing money dude, when he joined me with no YouTube, he was doing about 12k a month, maybe 8, 10, 12. He's just passed 100k this month, cash collected.
Let's go.
In 6 weeks. It's fucking crazy. Mental, man.
So that's a pretty correct, because I think like a lot of people think that to make money in the coaching space, it has to be make money online.
No,
right?
No.
Like, what are some of the other niches that you found, you've worked with, and just crazy ones or something?
God, I wish I had my list, because I always forget when I'm asked this, but manifestation, accounting, fitness is a big one. One of my biggest ever clients is a guy that teaches fitness from YouTube, does $350 a month. What else? Fitness, stop drinking alcohol, gambling addictions, sports. I worked with a world famous violinist, pianist. Who else? Dating is a big one. Relationships. In fact, one of my, probably the friend that's making the most money, multi 7 figures a month, teaches how to save your marriage to the, I think it's just the American market that they teach that. But yeah, relationships, health, money. It's so broad, man. Yeah. There's a lot that don't come to mind, but it's just so many. Yeah. It's crazy.
So you're now somewhere between 250, 300 plus a month, somewhere around that. You mentioned that the book is crushing.
Yeah.
You're doing some stuff with that. Like is that part of the strategy to get you to the next level? And what is the next level?
Yeah. Well, the next level, the next pit stop now is $500,000 a month, cash collected. And the book is playing a part in that now, because we're running. Have you seen the book ads yet?
I haven't seen the ads. No. I have. Are they on YouTube or are they on
Facebook and Instagram?
I don't really see ads much. I have it all but I kind of, I'll probably go on ads library and look at them.
Oh,
what's the?
You're gonna funnel hack me now.
Yeah. Well, I already have the book. I already have the book.
Well, it's worked then, hasn't it? In one way or another. But no, I mean, the original plan, I mean, dude, because I took 1.5 years to write that book. So I was writing it when I owned the last company as well. And I didn't finish it until I'd exited the last company, but I was writing it through that for a long time. And it was a labor of love. I wrote it because I love books and I love buying them and reading them, the art and the process of it. I think it's just a cool art form, books. So I always wanted to write one. I wanted to wait until the moment was right, when I really had a lot of value to share to even deserve to write a book and that kind of thing. It was just a brand asset at first. And then the YouTube blew up. I realized the possibilities of the business. And then now I've turned it into more of an ads strategy where we run ads to the ebook, and there's some bonuses. There's a $47 bump, and we're breaking even, just below breaking even on the front end right now, give or take the week. And then we book free sales calls to close for the back end. So to get to the 500, it's a case of scaling the booked calls, and taking on more clients and finding the sweet spot kind of thing. Yeah.
What does the sweet spot look like? Is that do you mean like in terms of like return on ad spend and that side of, or more like team structure?
It's ad ROI, profit margin, and stress level and fun level as well. Because if I had to kill myself to get there, there's no point. That's just stupid. Because I'm at the stage now where enjoying life is important as well, not just scaling to the moon. I've been there and done it, and it's not fun at all. So, that's what I mean. Again, make money, have fun, help people. Just got to keep those three things in alignment. And if they're in alignment, we're good. And if they're not, we're bad. And I want to see how far can we scale whilst keeping them in alignment. So my last business was more, how far can we scale no matter what, even if I don't sleep at night and I want to kill myself. And now it's the complete opposite, so I've played that game, and it's a stupid game.
I guess like with this model, even though the total revenue is less, like imagine the profit is like astronomical, like maybe not high total, but probably like it's comparable, I'd imagine.
By far. I mean, this makes, depending on the month, this makes more profit than the last business did. And when I sold the last business, revenue wise, we were doing about 800 a month, 825 a month. Cash would have been 550 of that. And then net profit, 180, 200, 210 area. And now we do that beyond that, and it's just so much easier and better. So this is what I meant when I talked about learning, because you've got to make mistakes to know what works for you, along with like watching podcasts and kind of learning from people that have made them. But you've got to make a mess and clean it up yourself, So
let's dive into the guys you work with. You've worked, do you know roughly how many people you've coached?
If I had to guess, about 250, 300.
Wow.
I'd say.
And when did you start doing the coaching?
I started quite a while ago, man. So we're in July 2024 now. I think I took on my first coaching client like January, February 2023, when I still owned the last business.
Okay.
Because a guy came to me one day and he said, Will, I'm at a mastermind right now. The guy who runs it is talking about you. So I've looked you up and I want to work with you. What do you charge? And I just charged him £3,000 a month for an hour a week. So that was my first ever client, and he crushed. So that gave me a lot of confidence.
Was that a guy called Evan by any chance?
No, that was Oliver Denyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Oliver was my first ever client, and he crushed it. Then I took on a real estate guy who's still a client to this day, by the way, which is cool. Then Evan, the agency guy.
Yeah, he's a mate.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, yeah.
Good guy.
Him telling me about, I didn't know who you were, but he said he'd hired this mentor and he started scaling.
Yeah.
Scaling with him, yeah.
Yeah, good guy. So I just slowly took on some clients. Then I started building the program that clients get access to and just learning about the price point and what works and what doesn't. And then I started to realize like, this is where my passion really lies, not in the education business. And if I don't sell it now, then I might never sell it if I start going in this direction and let it go to the wayside. So that was part of the decision to exit that company and come over here as well. But yeah, quite a few clients so far, man.
So you work with hundreds of clients already. What are some of the patterns you've noticed where maybe the top 3 mistakes that, aspiring coaches or info guys are making that you then help them correct?
Pricing is a big one. Operating the wrong funnel, the wrong sales process, offer not being dialed in, messaging being wrong, copywriting not being good enough, team structure being wrong, too many expenses, just not managing the books, managing the P&L, not doing the finances, not even having a bookkeeper or an accountant, ads not being dialed in, so not getting a very good ROI, stuff like that. Team not knowing how to hire or ramp or train properly. That's the bulk of it. Not knowing how to scale,
everything, basically.
Just everything. Yeah. It's all a mess.
Yeah. So people coming at all different kinds of levels.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a mix of raw beginners that come to me with a great talent or skill or knowledge that they want to sell. people that are doing, I mean, Hamza just became a client, as you know. So people that are doing good numbers with big audiences. I love working with the really famous influencers like Hamza, Mike Thurston, because they've already got a great audience and they just don't know the simple tweaks to make more money. And I do. So it's so easy and so fun, you know? So
like, let's say someone's at, where would you say an average client is at, say revenue wise, when they come to you?
20, 30, 40K a month.
Okay.
For the guys in the middle.
Okay. So that's where I am. Started this coaching business, like say 3 months ago at about like 30, 35K. Goal is to get to say 100. What do you find like their biggest bottlenecks are at that space?
What's your biggest bottleneck?
Yeah, it's a good. Well, that's what I came out here to figure out. Right now it's been doing one-to-one, with I work with agency owners, help them scale. My background's running an agency. It's going really well. Results are good. Now it's just a case of, I think, dialing in the offer, because right now it's just, I make content. If you like me and want to grow your agency and create a life like this, send me a message, and then they pay me $10,000 basically. That's basically the process. So it's weird. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't feel like a business coming from an agency with team members and ads and funnels and setters and all that stuff. Sometimes this doesn't actually feel like a real business to me. So, do you know what I mean?
Dude, that's exactly how I felt like in September, October, November, December last year when I was just on my own, making 30, 50, 70K a month, just easy, all cash, pretty much 100% margin. But I think about these businesses in four kind of sections. So traffic, sales process, conversion, and value, right? So those are the four kind of things that you can play with to become more efficient and make more money, right? And the bottleneck or the bottlenecks, they're in one of those areas. So it sounds like you've got an offer right now, which is solid. The price sounds good as well, right? So let's think about this. Let's say that your YouTube blows up tomorrow and you get loads of sales calls. You'll close them, right? No problem there. So conversion's good. Value is good. You've got your traffic if your YouTube blows up. Sales process. What's your sales process?
Well, it's interesting actually. So some of them have been DM closes just through Instagram. And then some of them have been, hopping on one call basically.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. And let's say you got that happened, you closed loads and you'd make loads of money, you'd probably pass 100K. So that's your goal ticked. Could you fulfill?
Not in how the current model is.
No.
Right now it's one-to-one. So it's pretty time intensive.
What's the offer?
Well, in terms of like what I'm giving them and stuff like that. It's just basically a call a week with me.
Call a week.
And then there's, WhatsApp access pretty much. And then there is some course material to go aside with it, but it's more around the mindset stuff, not yet the actual mechanics of what to actually do.
Yeah. Right. So the next thing you need to do then, because I've been there, I've been in that exact situation, man. You need to make your program as good as possible so that it gets rid of as much one-to-one coaching as possible. Right. That's one step that you need to do. And that will reduce the load on your time. Because then you want to make it so they don't even need the one-to-ones as much as physically possible. Right. So that's step one. And step two, to be honest, if you do that, that will reduce the one-to-one time load. Then you can add more clients. And at a 10K price point, man, I think you can do it. I think you can get to 100K a month, 10 clients a month and be all right. And they get one call a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. One call a week. Is it an hour or 45 minutes?
At the moment it's an hour, but when you said yours were 45, I took a note in my notepad. I was like, that would be smarter just to have like a bit of a gap in between.
Definitely set it at 45.
Yeah.
And just write on the calendar, like, I have a little note that says, why is it 45 minutes, not an hour? Because Will has back-to-back calls all day on the days he takes calls. So he needs a break. And the minute I changed it, no one even said a single thing. And people would get off at 45 minutes as well. I was like, wow, that's cool. But, just do that, man. Make your program great. Go to 45-minute calls, put your foot on the gas traffic-wise. And then the bottleneck's traffic then is to get more calls, more inbound leads. And you'll get to 100K, no problem, man.
Very valuable. Very valuable. Thank you, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So would you, at the moment, the top of funnel is mainly YouTube, organic. Would you just say, I'm doing one video a week. Would you say I need to continue with that, or should I do more, or just try and make videos better and more valuable, get more views?
Well, if you want more traffic and you can make the videos, it might be wise to go to 2 videos a week. Just test it for 3 months and just see what happens, right? See what is the impact of that. Also, or I would run some retargeting ads to just a bit more direct response style ads that are just something like, you know, if you're seeing this ad, you've been watching my YouTube videos, I hope you've been liking them. If you have this problem, click the ad, book in a call with me, and let me just tell you about how I might be able to help you, blah, 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 something like that. And that will book you a few more calls if they're well written and well ran. So that's another way, right? So 2 videos a week could help you. Retargeting ads could help you. And if you want to scale faster, then cold ads is really the way. Repurposing content is a bit messy and slow, to be honest. I was going to suggest that, but it's messy and slow. So I think cold ads. And do you use any other traffic channels like Twitter, Facebook?
I'm on them, but I'm not really focusing on them. So it's maybe just like the YouTube, Instagram, a small email list. There's maybe like 400 on there. I've done a couple of like, I've seen like the social funnel style ads on Instagram.
Oh yeah, where it's like message me.
Yeah, either message or follow.
And then you outbound them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are kind of like, if you have a good Instagram, I find like I've helped, I ran them for my agency actually, and they worked well. Helped a couple of people do them, tested it a little bit for me. I did get a client from it. Maybe that would be, have you seen much of that stuff yourself?
I've seen it. I've helped clients with it when it's appropriate. And we tried it with the book before we were running the proper book funnel ads. There's a post on my Instagram about the book, and we just promoted that with no, we didn't. We put a link in the bio. Yeah, and it said on the ad, go to the bio and buy the book. And we were getting like 4x ROI on that, just with kind of not particularly good sales copy, just about the book. And you can buy it from the bio. And I think the reason it worked is because the Instagram just looks and feels good. You know, I've got a blue tick, I've got a decent follow account, I've got good posts on there. So it builds credibility in itself. So I was actually surprised that worked, but that worked.
How come you stopped?
Because we kind of turned that off to do the proper book funnel ads and go all in and focus on the proper book funnel, because that's the real scalable model. As you know already, because I told you the numbers earlier, at low scale. So yeah, for you, more videos, retargeting ads, maybe cold ads. You could maybe do like a lead magnet funnel just to get buyer leads. Could be valuable. I think that's where the market is going more, rather than just cold ad, just buy from me. More, just buy something very small and cheap, see the value in it, solve a bit of your problem, and then come into the back end. I think that's the way the market's going now.
Interesting. Yeah. It's kind of like what Dan was talking about earlier, right? With like sort of a little bit different, but like lead magnet or maybe a workshop.
Yeah. Well, his workshops in a way are lead magnets, aren't they? Because he builds his following, and then he'll sell you a $50 workshop, blow your mind with the value, and get you in his back end.
Yeah.
So it's, maybe you could do that as well. Maybe you could do these low ticket workshops. That's something that I'm definitely going to experiment with, for sure.
When you said getting Dan's back end, I tried to keep it together.
I thought that as well. I thought that. I heard it in my head. I was like, don't acknowledge it. Don't smile. Just getting Dan's back end, all right?
It's right. English sense of humor is welcome here.
Good God. Good times, man. Good times. Yeah, there you go, mate. But no, I've just realized as well, I didn't answer your question earlier about, you said to me, I think the question was like, what should people do for YouTube, right? Or how should they grow their YouTube? And I think I told you the story about my client Nero, but I didn't really explain it. I think, do you make the raw style videos?
Yes, some of them are. I've done several like it, and they worked pretty well. So it was just mainly just me like talking to camera, but I do have, I'll put like a simple title, a little bit of B-roll over it to sort of tell a story. They work pretty well.
Yeah.
They work pretty well.
I think a lot more people should have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But I think the overwhelm is in like, oh, but what do I say? And how do I edit it? And what about the thumbnail? And how often do I upload? And all this stuff, which is in a way, it's procrastination. But I think just shoot videos, man, and just upload them. They don't have to be fancy. They don't have to be amazing. They don't have to be well thought out. Just be real and talk about ideally stuff that you've done.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to do it.
You do really well. It feels like you're just showing what you're doing or have done.
Yeah.
I think that's why people resonate with so much, because you're not telling people what to do. You're just showing them, this is what I did. It might work for you as well.
Exactly.
There's a lot of credibility in that, and a lot of like, it's more inviting, I think, for people to want to listen to it.
Yeah. So what have you done that other people can value and learn from, take value from? So
I think like the thing that I see resonates, I basically scaled the agency to like 50K a month. And then I did that, but hated it. So it's kind of similar to Dan's, not as big numbers, but it's similar to Dan's story. And I basically figured out how to make it way more simple and more lean. And the funny thing is like, I feel like I haven't like made that message super clear and consistent in the content. Right now, there's like different types of content that sometimes go up there. So maybe like it needs to be, that messaging needs to just be more consistent and just stack up over time a little bit. Because I noticed with your stuff, it's very like, when I click on your video, it's like I already can, like, I think it's a good sign that you're doing well when the audience kind of knows what to expect. Not what you're going to say, but what to expect. Like how are they going to feel? They know they're going to take something away. You're very like good and consistent at that. Was that something you experimented with? Was that intentional, or did it kind of just happen that way?
It's an accident, really. Yeah. I mean, I don't plan my videos. I don't plan the way I speak or anything like that. I just try and be normal, really. And just, I guess I try and think like I'm talking to a friend on like FaceTime, you know, and just explaining stuff. So that kind of mindset serves me well. When I just think, you know, I'm just like, hey buddy, listen, let me just share this with you. Here's how it works. Very natural and normal and open, you know, and you just, I like doing the long form unedited because I think it gives you an edge if you can do that, because a lot of people can't, due to maybe not having been there, not have the experience, not have the ability, or maybe I just talk too much and can just talk for too bloody long. Maybe that's the case, but yeah, I just think keep it real, man.
Did you ever have any fear about going on camera?
Well, I'm not sure whether you know this, but my last business was completely faceless. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, so it's completely faceless. So to answer your question, back then, yes, because I was actually scared of my music career fans and friends finding out that I was doing business and trading. Because again, music is very anti-capitalist and it's frowned on to make money. And I was setting out to make as much money as I could. So I hid my face, I hid my name, and it stayed that way for the full 6 years that I owned that business. And people actually did find out eventually, which is a shame. But that's just because we were spending like $250,000 a month on ads. So people recognized my voice and then looked into it and found me out, but not to worry.
Did you care when they did find you out?
No, because I was making so much money. You know, it just didn't matter anymore. It was the first initial jump that I was scared. But then year 2, year 3, I just didn't care anymore because I was so far ahead. It just didn't matter. But nowadays, no, not at all. You know, so back then, yes, nowadays, no. And I don't really care anymore. I think when you've got, it's hard to describe this, but like I once heard Andrew Tate say, listen, I could just buy a $25 million house right now with cash. I don't give a fuck about YouTube comments. And I was like, he's got a point. He's got a fucking point. Yeah. So that's, I mean, obviously I can't do that. I can't go and buy a $25 million house. I'm not saying that, but you get to a certain stage where it's just like, why bother? Just fuck off. You know, you just don't care. So
Do you get any hate though? I feel like you got like a lot of good fans in this space.
Oh yeah, I don't get any at all, which is awesome, and long may that continue as well. But yeah, I just love what I do now. So I make the videos with love, I make the program with love, I do the coaching with love, and it's a good energy. So
love that, man. So YouTube, and then people adamant you in the book the call with you,
yeah.
And then they work with you. How does the actual fulfillment work? Because you have different. You mentioned earlier like different levels.
Yeah.
How does that part work?
Yeah. So in terms of deliverables, we've got the physical book, so paperback, hardback, Kindle, audiobook on Audible now, or the ebook, on that low ticket side, I guess you could say. For the coaching is the group coaching program, one-to-one coaching program, done for you coaching program. And then on the back end, I do these 1-day workshops in Dubai, which are more for beginners, called the Beginner's Boardroom. And I do a 3-day mastermind with Sam Ovens, head of sales. David Dre is my partner on that. And that's a big 3-day mastermind, kind of like this, for more high level people like yourself, kind of 30K a month and above. And yeah, the coaching programs in terms of fulfillment, well, the group is easy. So in the group program, you get 2 hours with me in a group setting on Monday, 2 hours with my copywriter on a Thursday, and my online training program. And the program is basically every single thing that I've ever learned in every single area that you could imagine. It's covered in there. YouTube, traffic, funnels, which one to pick, pricing, offer, just every single thing you would ever need to know to print money in one of these businesses. It's in the program. So that's that side. And those are the only two things that we find people need, is either to ask me questions or get help with copy. Right. So that's the group program. One-to-one is just instead of group, just anytime one-to-one with me, 7 days a week, whenever you need me. You can book in on my calendar. I usually try and keep it within certain days. So whatever days of the week, I'll just do full days of calls. But if a client messaged me now and said, well, I need a call tonight, I would get on that call with them. So I'm quite dedicated to those one-to-one clients, and they generally book 1 or 2 calls a week on average, which is fine. And then the done for you is pretty much that. Apart from my copywriter will help you with your copy, my designer will help you with that stuff, that kind of thing. So fulfillment wise, I think we did 261k cash collected last month, or just above that, and just easy. Completely easy. So I'm confident we can double the business before it starts to get a bit too much. So we'll see. Ask me in a few months. Yeah. I will see. So
one thing I've noticed with you, I think one of your big strengths, and you mentioned it earlier, was like tracking numbers, this kind of stuff. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs in the space don't focus on that as much. I'm guilty as, even though I did an economics degree, I don't focus on it as much as I should. It almost surprises me, coming from like a DJ background, that you're like so on it with the numbers and that kind of stuff. Can you just talk a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah. I have no idea. I have no idea where that came from, but I started doing it when I was a musician. I would track the countries that I DJ'd in. I would track my record sales. I'd track my bookings every week and every month. I'd track my finances, of course, how much money I was making and what would affect my DJ fee. And I'd add up every single penny that I would get from any area, records, sample packs, DJ sets. I'd record it all in terms of the dates and the days and the amounts and stuff like that. And I just did it automatically. I have no idea why I started doing it. And then I would track just everything, my records and just everything, man. Yeah. And then when I came into trading, that helped a bloody lot, because then I could track my trades, the markets, all my stats, my personal performance stats. And, you know, I would track which markets do I perform best on and what's my average, you know, risk return and blah, 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 blah. So that really helped with trading, and it helped with teaching trading as well, because I would teach in that same rule-based, mechanical, mathematical way, which gave me an edge as a trader and a trading educator as well. And in business, it's so invaluable, especially if you're running paid traffic. It's critical. It's absolutely critical, because you need to know, you know, one thing we track now is of all the sales calls every day, which ones are organic, which ones are paid. You know, we can start to look at, well, what are the organic surveys like compared to the paid surveys? What's the lead quality like? What's the close rate of organic versus paid? What's the close rate per rep? And, you know,
It's just any different at the moment. I'm tracking that.
yeah, the paid close rate's a little bit lower. So organic close rate is about 34%. Paid close rate so far is about 24, 25, 26. It's a bit lower, but low volume so far. So we're not 100% sure on that yet. But ROI is massive. Well, that's more a product of the fact we're breaking even on the front, and the back end is pretty much pure profit, which is nice. But yeah, tracking it's just critical, man. It's absolutely critical. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is with business is that it all boils down to numbers,
It's just math.
right?
It's really just math. Yeah.
What's coming in, what's going on. Okay.
Mm.
Couple questions to wrap up for you. What is your favorite failure?
My favorite failure. God, man. My favorite failure. So many, man. The one that comes to mind is when I wiped almost all of my trading account and took the last little bit of money out and spent it on education. Because I've thought about this a few times. I could have called it quits and just took the 2K out. I started with 500. I could have been like, well, it was a small success. Just sod that and go back to music or something. And I would not be here today if I didn't bloody do that, if it wasn't for Chris and Tom. So big up those guys. And maybe the guy that first paid me as well. Thank God that happened. And maybe if I hadn't taken that seriously, I also wouldn't be here today. So my favorite failure is probably losing all that money as a trader. And then that made me invest in myself and learn and up we go from there. So
Why do you think you made that decision? Because that you when you look back, right, you have these inflection points, and if you went the other way, your life could look completely different.
yeah.
What do you think made you actually? What did it feel like on that moment when that happened and you then made that decision?
I actually remember, because I distinctly remember when I bought Chris's course, and it was £300, so a very low price back then anyway. I think he has the secret that I need. And if I buy that course, and it was just a course, I honestly thought to myself, I think he has a secret. And if I learn the secret, I'll make money. And it was actually true. You know, same for Tom as well. I thought, well, he's a very famous, very successful professional trader. So surely he knows something I don't. And if I get that knowledge, surely I'll make the money. And on a smaller level, I did. You know, and the same for Alex Becker's mastermind, Sam Woman's mastermind, Cole Gordon's mastermind, Alan Sultanich, who I paid 35 grand to make my book funnel for me. I thought they've got the secret. They've got the knowledge that I don't have. So I can either fail or I can just fucking pay them and solve it. And that's completely changed my life, is just giving people money, getting their knowledge, doing what they tell me to do. And I've never done that and not made money in my life. So
If you could put anything on a billboard for the whole world to see, what would you put on?
oh, dude. Oh, well, I wanted to buy this domain name, elearning.com, but they wouldn't fucking sell it to me. So I would have put that on the billboard if they would have sold it to me. I'd probably put my website on there now, buildgrowandexit.com, because that's where, or maybe my YouTube. I'd put my YouTube channel on there.
Yeah.
I would just put some kind of YouTube channel thing on, because that's where I want people to go the most, you know, so I can help them understand how to change their life. Because I really believe 100% from the bottom of my heart, online education is just such an amazing vehicle, such an amazing model to make money, to have fun, and to help people. So it's just the best thing ever. And I want to encourage more people to get into it and take it seriously, you know. So
Why didn't they sell you elearning.com?
because they want to use it for themselves, for something, I don't know what. But buildgrowandexit.com makes more sense anyway,
Yeah.
to be honest.
That must have been pricey. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it would have been. It doesn't matter now. So,
True.
yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. It's your last day on Earth. So fast forward and built all the companies, venture capital fund, all the things you've wanted to achieve. You've had a great life. It's your last day here on Earth. You've got all people who care about you the most, who you care about, family, friends, whoever it is. you can't leave behind any of the material wealth that you've accumulated to them. So all the real estate, businesses, everything. But you can leave them with one piece of wisdom or one piece of advice. What would you tell them?
I would say stop at nothing to build the life of your dreams and enjoy it to its fullest. That's what I'd say.
Stop at nothing to build the life of your dreams and live to your fullest.
And just live to your fullest and enjoy every second of it. Yeah.
Love that. Where can people, well, YouTube will obviously be linked below.
Yeah.
What else would would you want people to know about you?
YouTube is the best place to start. Just search my name, William Brown. Grab the book for sure. The book is by far the best starting point. Or just go all in and join one of the coaching programs, come to one of the masterminds and just make it happen.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Love it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Great chat.